Hey there, it's Lacy J from Space Bear Media, the makers of Lost in My 40s. Did you know that you can go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, including our weekly video pre-shows where your hosts ponder ethical questions related to the week's episode and answer some fun questions just for, well, fun. Speaking of fun, if you have it thanks to our content, please consider rating or reviewing Lost in My 40s on your favorite app, or recommend us to a friend who loves Lost. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to, oh my God, the end of season 2 of Lost in My 40s. Right now, we're doing episode 23, Live Together, Die Alone, part 1. But 3 episodes have dropped today. You've got part 2 and our special episode of Theories and Questions. So I hope you're powering through them all today. How's everybody doing? That's
doing
you,
great.
really, not the listeners.
Doing great.
All right.
Yep.
I realized at the end of last week that I was like so excited and talking about how Derek was going to end the show again that I completely forgot to mention that the last 2 episodes are Desmond flashbacks. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Desmond.
Wow.
Definitely one of my favorite characters of the entire show. And we have now got 2 Desmond, Derek episodes coming at you. But first, Ben, can you update us on where our power rankings stand before?
I can, but first I want to comment on your intro. You're sort of hello everybody, or whatever it is. You sound every time you do it, it becomes more stylized. And I feel like now when you're doing it, I feel like I'm watching Schitt's Creek, and you're
I'm like a parody of myself at this point.
No, not Alexis.
No.
So what's the
mom?
Moira.
The mom,
Yeah.
Moira. Like Moira walks into a room and says something. Hello everybody. Like I don't know. It's just. I don't know if you're channeling her or what.
Okay, so we have already derailed like 30 seconds into the podcast.
And we started talking about a totally different show.
Could you please update us on the fucking power rankings?
I will. We start at the top with Mr. Echo at 129 points. It's looking less and less likely that anybody is going to be able to catch him in the next couple episodes.
Yeah.
We've got Jack in second place, no longer Dr. Bronze. Now he's, I don't know, Citizen Silver. Hurley in third place, 95 points. The mayor of Island Town, keeping it real. Bottom of the barrel should be...
Hurley got some love.
The bottom of the barrel is no surprise to anybody. We've got Michael, Mr. Cooper, and Charlie.
Oof, yeah. Charlie had a bad season.
Yeah,
it's not quite as bad as Michael's. I guess Michael finally managed to outdo the baby napping by
seriously,
you know, betraying all his friends.
Outdid it, yeah.
Killing people.
Killing all the hot tail on the island. I mean,
I know.
Yeah, screaming Walt all the time. I think I was done with him this fucking season when he was screaming at the waterfall. I think that's when I was finally just like, okay,
that was the end of it.
Yeah,
like Walt.
That feels like that was pretty early on.
Yeah, I think that was.
Yeah, but he kept doing it.
Episode.
No, I meant the
4 or
waterfall
5
scene.
or something like that.
All right. Are we ready to do this?
Yes.
It's the beginning of the end of season 2. Derek, tell us all about Desmond.
All right, so it's day 65 on the island, and the survivors are running towards the shore, waving at a boat that is floating nearby. Charlie asks, are we rescued? And Saeed, Jack, and Sawyer...
Oh, wait a second. Because they found you. They found this plane crash, and they sent a tiny sailboat to pick you all up. Jesus Christ, Charlie. No.
I don't think they can all fit on there. I mean,
I know, it's just so stupid. Are we rescued?
It's just a bunch of...
All right.
It's a bunch of kids on there like, is this the Fyre Festival?
Oh my God. All right. Sorry, Derek.
Rich snots.
All right, so Saeed, Jack, and Sawyer jump into the ocean and swim to the boat. And Kate uses some binoculars to see if anyone is on the boat, but she doesn't see anything. Charlie is worried that it could be a trap. So I guess it went from being rescued to being a trap.
They're pretty good swimmers, especially since I think all three of them are wearing jeans.
Yeah, they got out to that boat pretty quick.
Hell yeah.
Did you like their striptease though? Like all three of the guys just started like
Yeah, I figured that was
throwing
not
their clothes
easy
off.
for
Yeah.
the girls.
I definitely didn't mind it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So they climb onto the boat, and it appears to be empty. They all take out their guns, and you can hear music playing below. And as Jack approaches...
I'm going to point out a continuity thing here. You know how the entire time they're looking at the boat is like aimed right at them? It's like... It's like the brow... What is it? The bow of the ship? The front of the goddamn thing is aimed right at the shore, yet when Jack swims up to it and gets on, you can't see the shore. It's aimed like the camera is aimed right down the center of the boat, so you're looking across where the front of the boat is, but it's just looking out into the ocean.
Wow.
Well, perhaps all of the, mess they were making trying to get on the boat turned out a little bit.
People can make a boat turn.
I think there's.
No?
I think the boat.
Not that fast.
I think the boat was just trying to get a better peek of all the guys stripping down.
Oh, there we go.
Well.
It was like, hey, you guys couldn't see me do that. It's we need to start doing some video.
I don't know how you notice all these continuity things. I'm like so into it that it doesn't.
I
register.
didn't notice that. Yeah.
No.
All right.
Wouldn't you say criticality is one of my least awesome qualities? Being like critical of things.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
It carries.
I think you're just.
You are that way.
I think you're just very analytical.
That's true.
That's true.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Unless you're trying to show emotion or.
Oh my God, we're never getting to the end of this. All right.
I'm not even through the first paragraph, and I have pages.
All right.
Okay, so back to the boat. Jack approaches a hatch to go below, and then you hear shots being fired through the wooden door, and the three take cover. Eventually, the shooter runs out of ammo, and you can hear him say, "Damn it." So Jack kicks the door open, and they see none other than Desmond sitting on the floor holding a rifle, drunk, and says, "You." I don't have the
fucking
accent.
love that moment because, of course, at the beginning of this season, that is what Jack says to him.
That's right.
In the hatch in episode 1.
Yep.
It's just such a nice way to tie it together.
So now we know where Desmond has been.
Yes, he's been on a boat for the season, getting wasted. Yeah.
Yep. He laughs and he takes a drink, and then you get the lost title screen. So it's nighttime back on the island, and Desmond is on the beach still drinking. Jack walks up.
He is just pounding the
Seriously,
liquor,
he's
too.
going
Yeah.
It's not just like, a couple of shots. He's just
he's
taking
gulping.
gulps. Yeah.
Yet through the entire scene, he is decidedly eloquent.
Yeah, no
Well,
slurring.
he's Desmond.
He's Desmond. He's not like slurring at all.
No.
Yeah.
He's drinking Dharma Initiative scotch or something.
Rot gut. So Jack walks up and offers him food, but he takes another drink instead. So Jack tells him, when you ran off, you forgot you had a sailboat, to which Desmond laughs and says, "Did you think I did it on purpose?" He tells Jack he was sailing due west for 2.5 weeks and should have been in Fiji after about a week, but the first land he saw was the same island. He says the ocean and the island is it, and they are stuck in a bloody snow globe. There's no outside world or escape, and he tells Jack to go away and let him drink.
Ooh.
Yeah, that doesn't sound promising.
Flat earthers basically believe that we live in God's snow globe.
Oh, sure. That's what's in the Bible. That's what it says. The earth is flat and on pillars and covered by a firmament. This is basically a
so
snow
what happens
globe.
if you fall off the edge?
Yeah, I guess you drop into hell. I don't know. Oh.
So now we go to flashback number 1, and Desmond is being released from a military prison, and a soldier is giving him back his items that he had to surrender while serving time. And one of the items is a picture of him and a blonde woman that was seen in the hatch.
Yeah. Did you remember that when
Yes.
you saw it, Derek? You're like, oh, wait a second. I know that photo.
She's beautiful.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she is gorgeous.
Really?
So he also
Really?
gets...
Yeah.
You don't
What?
agree?
No,
Really?
I always thought I always kind of wondered. I don't find her attractive at all, actually.
Oh, that's
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah.
I think she's just so classically beautiful.
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
how I would describe her too. Oh, that's wild. All right.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Penny. Ben's not into you.
Desmond was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better the old in out.
On that weepy young debauch
Maybe before, maybe before she went all bronze.
What?
What?
I guess. Remember in the episodes where Sun, they were telling her that Sun was bronze because she was getting older.
Oh, you're right. Yes.
Though I guess a penny,
her
though I guess a
mother.
penny is copper, so you'd have to mix tin into that in order to actually get bronze.
Oh
but
my
you know,
God. That was a journey, Ben. Wow.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So he also gets the book Our Mutual Friend by Charles Dickens. And the soldier asks him, why didn't he bring it inside? And Desmond says he has read every other book by Dickens except that one. And he didn't want to be tempted to read it because it'll be the last thing he will read before he dies.
it'd be the best Dickens.
That's morbid. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
I'm getting high as
Smoke
usual.
him if you got him.
Jesus H Christ.
Oh, and the dog's here too.
Here's the coffin.
This is such an awesome podcast.
I know. I was editing an episode earlier this week, and I was like, "Are you serious now?" Like the number of times people are like, blah, blah, blah. I was just like, "Oh my God, come on!"
Yeah, the coffin.
Seriously,
Here's another.
just
Sorry.
Can you
All
just can you just get shit faced like respectable people? Fucking hopheads.
Yeah,
fuck.
top heads. So then the soldier stamps his dishonorable discharge and tells Lance Corporal Desmond David Hume, your sentence is complete, and you are now and forever discharged from the Royal Scots Regiment of Her Majesty's Armed Forces, and long live the Queen. And tells him to enjoy his sodding book.
Sodding. I love it.
Sodding.
Is this a book about?
I hate that
this is a book
everybody's
about
like,
planting?
long live the queen.
I know.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, she has been living forever.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
100
she's about to
years
have her
old.
70th Jubilee. She's been queen for fucking 70 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So maybe that's what did it. Every time you say "Long live the Queen," she gets a few extra minutes added.
Yeah.
Let's be fucking real. She's been called the queen for 70 years. She's not an actual queen.
Right, she's just a
I'm sorry.
figurehead.
No,
She's
she
a
is
figurehead.
the queen. It's just that the queen is only a figurehead.
Right.
She is no longer the government in and of
Right.
herself. But she's still the queen. I mean, I think it means nothing. I think royalty is stupid, and but they love her there. I mean, the royal family is like a tourist attraction now, basically.
Oh, it is.
They bring in money to the economy because people want to go and look at them.
People
Did you
care
hear
about
But
them
what
so
about
much, too.
when they recently when the what's his name?
William.
Yeah.
William.
Yeah, William.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We watched
What
something the
about
other day
him?
about them going to the Caribbean islands to try to do like hey, we're all in the empire together, and basically every island was telling them like fuck off, get out of here. Like Jamaica, they were like, yeah,
Yeah,
we're
they
independent.
hate the
fuck
British
you.
there. Yeah. 'Cause I've been to most of those islands, and yeah, they're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, they went there to celebrate the Jubilee. They were like
Yeah, that's right.
representing the fact that his grandma has been queen for 70 years. And yeah, they just basically got like booed the entire time.
How'd she get
Just the
there?
whole
Oh, just because
fucking-
she was born. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the whole fucking
Yeah.
idea that like people who have been colonized are gonna like cheer for their
Right.
colonizers.
They
Yeah.
oppressed
It's
us for hundreds of
bizarre.
years, enslaved us, brutalized us, but we're supposed
Yeah.
to worship. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Fuck off.
Completely fucking bizarre. Anyways,
Yeah.
So back to Lost.
yeah, long live the queen.
Yep. and enjoy your sodding book. So he walks out of the prison into the pouring rain and is offered a ride by some rich old man sitting in the back of a limo. But Desmond says, not with you. The rich man tells him to get in the car, so Desmond does, and he sees 2 boxes and asks if they are presents, to which the man says, actually, there are 2 presents. He tells them that one of the boxes contains his past and the other contains his future.
All right, you cryptic shit. Just give me the presents.
So he opens the
What
first.
is this?
It's full of
So he
money.
opens the first one, and it's full of hundreds of letters that he wrote to someone named Penny, and he calls the rich man a bastard.
A bastard. This scene, I mean, this is intense. Like, okay, so we just talked about how we got the you, right, from Desmond to Jack. So that, like, brings us back to the beginning of season 1. And this scene, or the beginning of season 2, excuse me, this scene brings us back to Michael and Walt's story, right? Because Walt's mother, Susan, the evil fucking bitch, had the whole box of letters that Michael had written. And so the little parallels and the, I don't know what fucking word I'm looking for, but the point is...
Details?
Yeah, the details that show the similarities between the characters, right? So...
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, what the fuck is with people holding back letters? What is that? What is wrong with you? Why are you getting involved in someone's life that way? Like, it just pisses me off.
Print is dead.
In the
Just
U.S.,
send
it's
an
a
email.
federal offense.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Do they have email in prison now? Probably.
They probably shouldn't, though.
Yeah.
They should be digging ditches, not learning how to email.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, they do have email in prison, because when my brother was there, he messaged me. So I know that.
So the man who is apparently Penny's father tells Desmond that the fact that she never received those letters is good for her, because as far as she is concerned, he has forsaken her, and Penelope has moved on and is getting married. The other box, so he opens the other box, and inside is a lot of money, and he tells Desmond the conditions are simple. No contact, no calls, no post. You just run away, Desmond. And he asks, what makes you think I would just run away? To which the father replies, because you're a coward.
Jesus.
Damn.
Fucking asshole.
Brutal.
Now,
Calm
you know,
down,
the idea
Charles.
of somebody like giving you a bunch of money, it's great and all until you really have to think about, like, if I'm going to try to live anywhere other than like going from hotel to hotel and buying everything with cash. Like, I'm assuming in Scotland they've got some sort of revenue service like they do here. So you have to be able to prove where your money came from. Somebody giving you a box full of money isn't necessarily helpful for your future. I'd be like, you put me on the fucking payroll, dude. I want full bennies. You know,
Yeah.
That would be a better deal, right? Like,
you're obviously
you
powerful.
Just give me a salary for the rest of my life as opposed to a bag of money. Yeah. What do you do with a bag of money?
I mean, I get it. If he handed him an offer letter, an offer letter were in the other box, it wouldn't seem, it wouldn't be quite the same sort of,
drama.
It wouldn't be as dramatic.
Yeah. It's got to be full of money, but I mean, practically, come on.
What's in the satchel?
It's full of money.
Sorry, that was a movie reference. If you got that, you're cool.
So back on the island, Saeed is carrying a nice torch and telling Jack that Desmond's boat is a way to gain an advantage on Michael and the others. Saeed says the camp that Michael is leading to is where the others will set their trap, but that he can get to the camp much quicker by sea than they will by land, and he can go ashore undetected where he can scout their positions and weapons.
What
Then
would
he'll
they
go
do without Saeed, honestly?
I know.
I mean, like, oh my God.
He's incredible.
He's the only one that really, like, just knows how to get shit done.
And yet, even as good as his plan was, it didn't actually bear any fruit in this case.
Well, no, because the others are still one step ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good
But
idea.
At least he had some semblance
Right, at
of
least he had a plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go walking into the jungle.
Yeah, and he was the only one that was on to Michael in the first place. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and Jack's idea was to just walk into the trap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, it's better. Saeed, a couple, halfway earlier this season when he was totally cunt struck, would have never thought of this.
That's right.
Like they would have been like, we've got to do this. It's like, well, we could do a nice picnic on the beach. We're like, hey, that's not going to help us right now.
Right.
That was a really great figure of speech, Ben.
Oh, cunt. What did you say?
Cunt
struck.
I've not heard that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I never heard that before.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking great.
Wasn't that a movie? Wasn't that a movie starring Cher? Oh, no, that was Moonstruck. Sorry. I got confused.
Moonstruck. No, I think that actually came from Deadwood.
Cuntstruck? Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. That sounds like a Deadwood thing.
I think I can tell you, I think it's season 2, episode 1. Swearingen says it.
Ben has the show Deadwood memorized.
Oh, yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
All right.
So after he scouts their positions, and he will go to the nearest beach and light a fire with dark black smoke, and Jack and his team will meet him there, and then they will go into the camp together. Jack still has doubts that Michael has been turned, and he says he has to tell Kate, Sawyer, and Hurley what the plan is, but Saeed says no, that Michael cannot sense they are lying, and all they have is the element of surprise, and Jack needs to keep the secret. So Locke worked.
Before we go there, I want to say the thing that was funny at the end of this was Saeed. The last thing he says is, this time they will know we are coming. And I was like, doesn't that sort of like the whole thing was that they weren't supposed to know you were coming? Like
element of surprise.
Element of surprise. You just talk about all this type of stuff, and you're going to go reconnoiter and do all of this stuff. But now you're saying they're going to know you're coming. So I don't know. Once again, maybe he's thinking about Shannon and starting to get confused.
Oh my God.
His tactical sense is waning.
So Locke walks into the computer room where Echo is sitting, and Echo asks where John has been, and he replies he's been thinking, and that when the computer starts to beep, he's going to just let it run down to 0 and then past 0 without pushing the button. Echo says he's going to push the button, but John says, you don't want to be a slave to the button when it starts beeping. And then Locke stares intently at Echo and says, don't push it. And Echo says, don't tell me what I can't do.
Oh,
again.
There we go.
Yep.
It's like every few minutes. That's what we're getting. And by the way, I'm so disappointed in Locke at this point, because for me, like remembering the first time I watched it, I was so into his character. Mm-hmm. I think it was a way for me to escape into sort of that kind of mindset, because I'm much more like Jack. I'm the, anti-faith, I guess. I don't know. I want evidence for everything.
Scientific evidence.
Yeah, scientific, right. But I was like so in love with like Locke's idea of faith, and then he just fucking gives up, and I can't believe it. It makes me so mad.
Well, it's because his faith is almost sort of a pagan faith, right? Because it's like, with him, it's not like God or anything. It's the island. It's this other idol. So it's almost sort of a paganist sort of ideal that he's. Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't looking at it that way. Exactly. I just meant like the way that he was so determined and he was so convinced. He had me with him. I was determined. I was convinced, even outside of my character. And then he just like abandons it, and I'm going, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I thought we were in this. Like,
he's like one of the people. He's like one of the people that go to AA, and then they're like no fucking fun afterwards, like at all. Like they beat up on you for drinking, and it's the same kind of deal. Like he was totally into this. Yeah,
wow.
It is.
Oh
now he's like,
God.
I'm not. I used to push the button. And, he was hard on about it. Even though he never really got his 2-man system down.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
maybe that's what this is all about. Maybe
God.
he's afraid
Space
Echo's
Bear
going to do the
Media.
job really well.
Space Bear Media supports your sobriety if that is the journey you're on.
Yeah, man.
Just don't be boring when you're sober.
Yeah, I'm 60.
Yeah, don't be a dick about it when other people want to drink.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're coming down on sober people now.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm 6 days without a drop, and I'm going to tell you, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, FYI, Ben and I stopped drinking just slightly for a little while, so that's why he's pissed off. All right.
All right, so
Anywho.
as Echo is entering in the numbers, Locke grabs the Jesus stick and tries to smash the monitor, but Echo
Bad
stops him. Echo stops him and punches him, knocking him down, and completes entering in the code. Then Echo pushes Locke out the hatch, closes the door on him, and locks it, telling John, "Do not come back."
I loved that moment. That was fucking great.
I did too.
Locke actually starts saying, he goes, "No, it's not real. We're only puppets. Puppets on strings."
Yeah.
Isn't that a marionette?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, I was just making sure. It would have been funny if he said that. If he said, "We're only puppets, marionettes," you know, it wouldn't have the same. Echo would kind of look at him side eye, like, "What the fuck is he talking about?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I must have caused some brain damage when I knocked him down."
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, they all have brain damage by now. They've all been knocked unconscious.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have.
So many
12
times.
times in
Head
65
trauma on
days.
that island.
yeah.
Yeah. Every single one of them is brain damaged.
So back on the beach, Jack is packing up for the quest to the others' camp and hands Michael a pistol. He then offers Hurley a gun, who refuses, so he hands it to Kate, who takes it. And then Jack asks her what is wrong, and she brings up the fake beards and props she found in the medical hatch and says, what if they just want them to think they're hillbillies? Michael says they are hillbillies, and they live in huts and eat fish and are probably more scared than they are, and they have no idea they are coming. Sawyer says enough, and let's roll, and the band of 5 head down the beach.
He
And
says enough
hillbillies
jibber
really-
jabber.
Enough.
Jibber jabber.
Can you be living on a Pacific island and be a hillbilly? Is that possible?
I guess
Right.
there's hills on the island.
Sure.
Yeah.
But are there billies?
The Billies are the people. The Billies
Okay.
that live in the hillies.
Yeah. The other thing I loved about the scene is if you look at every single person in this scene has got a solid colored shirt on. One of them's blue, one of them's green, one of them's like sort of orange red, a couple of them are purple. It's like not a single one of them thought, hey, we're gonna go sneak up on these guys. Let's wear something with patterns that maybe
Camo?
blends into the fucking
Yeah.
background. They're all like wearing like primary, secondary color solid shirts.
You really do notice a lot. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He really, I don't know how he pays
I would have
attention to
noticed
the
if
plot.
they were topless versus not, but other than that.
Because I try to put myself, maybe I'm a method watcher or something. Like I put
Oh my
myself in there and I'm like, okay, I'm about to go assault an unknown position with an unknown enemy. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to approach by
Put on neon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
If I see someone in the grocery store that's wearing like head to toe camo, I'll bump into him and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there." Just walk away. Some of them think it's funny. Some of them are like, "Back the fuck up, lady."
I mean, if they're working camo, they should be wearing like, looks like store shelves and food, not.
It's like
Could you
walk
imagine
around
that?
Yeah.
wearing canned goods.
Yeah.
There we go again.
Yep.
Off
the
the
rails.
rails.
Yeah.
So Desmond is rowing towards the boat, and you can see that it is named Elizabeth. And as he's rowing from the boat to the shore, but you can see and he drags the raft on the beach. Saeed comes up saying that he needs the boat. And Desmond says he's wasted his time. There's nothing out there, but Saeed says he's going to the North Shore. And Desmond replies, "Going to see the hostels, are you?" And Saeed says,
Sorry,
"What?
the who?
The hostels?"
Sorry, what?
That's what Saeed says. He goes, "What?"
Yeah.
But Desmond ignores him and says he can have the boat. So then Saeed says he doesn't know how to sail, and Desmond suggests he better find someone who does.
I'm reading this outline here, and it says going to see the hostels, and hostels is spelled HOSTELS.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I saw that when I was.
And I was like,
Spelled it like the
I was like,
a
because
hotel.
they are here for Fyre Festival.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I
Oh my
actually
God.
replayed that scene to make sure they did say hostiles and not hostels, because that's what I saw in your outline.
Yeah,
Okay, fine. I can't spell. It's
Well, it does
you know.
sound like it with the accent.
yeah.
No, I know the difference. I'm sure I just typed it very quickly and didn't notice.
So we go back to flashback number 2, and Desmond is in a coffee shop and asks for the one that has the most caffeine in it, brother. But turns out he doesn't have any U.S. dollars and that he spent all his American money on a taxi. It's expensive ass taxi.
Yeah.
But a voice next to him says she's got it, and the camera cuts over, and you see that it's none other than
Dun,
Libby.
dun, dun.
Libby.
Libby with a really bad haircut.
Oh, it's awful. It's the worst hair.
He says you don't have to, but she says it's just $4. And he asks, well, if you don't suppose you have 42,000 more of those. And then says,
such a weird thing to say, but okay, Desmond.
He says he's just joking. And then she says it depends on for what that he wants the money for. So they're now sitting at a table, and Desmond is showing her a brochure about a sailing race around the world. And he says that he has 8 months to get into the best shape of his life.
Run, Libby. Run. I know he's cute. Fucking run.
So Libby asks, what will he win? And he says, what really matters is who he will win it from. And he turns the brochure over, showing her Charles Widmore, who is the same rich old fuck from the limo before.
Oh my goodness. It's Widmore's race.
Aha. Libby asks, who is he? And Desmond says that he tried to buy him off, and when he refused, he took away the only thing he ever truly cared about. Libby asks, who is she? And Desmond replies that it's his daughter. He says that he was unsuitable on many levels, and she asks, what's the 42 grand for? And he says it's complicated because he doesn't actually have a boat.
That's actually very simple.
Yeah, I know.
It's not complicated.
I don't have a boat.
You don't have a boat, you're going to a race around the world. That's not complicated.
Maybe he means trying to race around the world without a boat is complicated.
I mean, he's got,
that would be, yeah.
I'm not liquid right now. I've got things tied up in escrow. Like, that's more complicated.
Yeah. I'll be getting
I don't have a boat. It's not complicated.
So Libby stares at him for a while and tells him that she has a boat and that it was her husband's, but he got sick and he wanted to sail to the Mediterranean, but he passed away a month prior. Libby tells Desmond that she wants him to have her boat. Very generous.
Yeah.
She just go to a coffee shop and say, hey, I need a boat.
Yeah.
I want to sail around the world.
What would be funny is she did. I mean, she said her husband got one, but did he actually pay it off? I'm wondering if he's getting saddled with payments on this.
Oh yeah,
she's like offloading the loan.
Offloading his boat. She's like, you know what? I know the docking fees I pay for this fucking thing. Yeah. Jesus.
He says he can't take her boat, but Libby says he has to because her husband would want him to.
Wait a second. Why doesn't he have money for a boat? Didn't Whitmore just give him a big old bag of money?
No, he didn't.
No, he
didn't take it. Okay.
I was like, to buy him off.
That's right. Sorry. I don't know where my head is at.
Yeah.
In that pen thing you're smoking.
My vape. Yeah.
Plus something tells me it's probably difficult to go into a boat dealer and pay cash for a boat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In the U.S., anything over 10 grand, they have to report it to the IRS.
Yeah.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Treasure form.
Okay, so I am wrong in every possible way. Never mind.
In Scotland, it would be Her Majesty's Revenue Service, but
that's right.
Yeah.
Everything is Her Majesty's.
Yeah.
So Desmond asks, "What was your husband's name?" And she says, "David," and that he named his boat Elizabeth after her. And Desmond thanks her and says he will win the race for love.
She's like, it's actually a tugboat, so you probably won't win.
Yeah, good luck. The rowboat. Back on the island, Jin is tending to a fire and then walks over to Saeed and Sun, who were talking. And Saeed goes to the shore. And Sun tells Jin in Korean that Saeed wants him to sail the boat to the other side of the island to help Michael. But he says no. He says no because he won't leave her since she's pregnant. And she says he won't be leaving her because she is coming with them.
Oh.
What? But Jin looks concerned. I don't think he likes that answer. So in the jungle, Michael is leading the group to the others when Sawyer's about to pick up a doll lying on the ground, but Kate stops him, telling him it's a trap. She tells him that Danielle has them all over the island, and Sawyer asks how the hell she would know that. And Kate says she tripped one with Jack and they ended up in a net, but then says never mind.
Is that successful bait for him?
She got caught in a net, and when Jack was saying that they had gotten caught in a net,
right,
Sawyer thought that meant
that they were
That was a
boning.
euphemism.
Yeah, because Sawyer says, when Doc told me you got caught in the net, I thought something else.
Yeah.
And Kate asks, when did you and Jack start talking about me?
Whoops.
She likes that, though.
You can tell by her little smile that she's really, really excited that both of these hotties are
Yeah.
I don't know what
about
her
it.
fucking problem is. She just needs to get in that sandwich and have a good time.
But then they hear something in the jungle. Guns are drawn, and then a huge green bird flies over the group. Michael tries to shoot it, but the gun doesn't fire.
It's so funny if you watch the scene. The number of times he pulls that trigger.
Yes.
They cut to him, and he's laying there on the ground. He's just kind of got it stuck up in the air, not even really looking, go click, 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 like he's not even shooting at it. He's just trying to get it to click at that point.
Yeah, it's like, first click and that kind of pistol, you're out. I mean,
Yeah.
not a revolver where it may come around to a live round.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a Pez container,
Yeah.
when you're out, you're out.
You're out.
It was just the look on Michael's face the whole time, like, what?
Yeah. I think he lost
trust
points
me?
for me specifically because of that scene. I was like, really? You're going to shoot a bird with a pistol? Ugh.
So after it flies by, Hurley asks, did that bird just say my name? And Sawyer responds, yeah, it did, right before it crapped gold.
Did you hear anything in there that made you think that Hurley?
Yeah. And I watch it with the
Subtitles.
captions on, and it does.
It does say his name.
It does say
Really?
Hurley.
Yeah, it became a big thing. It was then referred to as the Hurley bird. And I can tell you that it sort of drops off, and you don't hear from the Hurley bird again until the addendums after the show is over.
It's just some kind of random thing then, I guess.
Well,
It's not a bird.
I mean, there's an explanation. I'm just saying it's not touched on. We will talk about it after season 6.
It doesn't matter. We all know it's a drone.
Yeah.
No, we don't know that.
All birds are drones. We know that.
Oh,
So-
that's what you mean. Birds aren't real. Right.
Yeah.
Go to that. Birdsaren'treal.com.
Oh, okay.
Australia is also not real.
That's true.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It isn't. Yeah.
The land down under? What?
Yep.
So Michael pulls out the empty clip, and Jack looks over and says, sorry, man. I guess I forgot to load that one.
Duh.
Technically, it's a magazine.
Yeah, true. Elsewhere in the jungle, Charlie comes up on Locke leaning against a tree crying. And Locke
Like
is just
sobbing.
falling apart.
It makes
man.
it makes me uncomfortable when Locke is crying.
I know.
Yeah,
It's like,
me
you're not
too.
supposed to cry.
Ew,
Yeah.
stop it. Be man up.
Yep.
It is okay for men to cry, but
not Locke.
watching it Locke
Not
do
Locke.
it,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
tough. Yeah, it's tough.
So Charlie says, John, and he turns around, wiping off his face, telling him he's fine. Charlie says, if you're feeling sorry about yourself, you may want to have a drink with your mate from the hatch, since he's a little despondent himself. Locke says, what? And Charlie replies, he wasn't there for the dramatic arrival of the funeral, and says, I think he pushed your button a few too many times if you asked me. Locke realizes it's Desmond, and Charlie says, I'm sure you have a lot to talk about, and walks off with a smile.
What's Charlie's angle here?
Yeah, it's
Trying to stir
really
a pot
weird.
here.
Is he just trying to
well,
stir
I
up
think that
shit?
he's still mad. He's still mad at Locke. Remember? I mean, that was why he kidnapped Son.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to make Locke look bad. And so I think he caught him crying and found little ways to sort of poke at him. I think in a moment of weakness, because he's just so angry with him still. That's all. I think the angle was just to kind of be a dick.
Yeah.
Okay, so-
Yeah.
Be a little
All right.
hobbit dick.
A little hobbit dick.
So on the beach, Saeed is loading up the raft when Jin and Sun walk up. Saeed thinks they're confused and that he only asked Jin to come, but Sun tells him he needs someone to translate and 2 people that know how to sail. Saeed said Desmond managed by himself, and Sun replies, and look where he ended up.
Right?
That's the
That's
point
a
right
good
there.
point.
Dude, Sun is like super, like she's not in this episode a whole lot, but she's like decisive when she is, which is kind of hot.
Yes.
She's, coming into her own, and she stopped taking orders from her husband, and he's more docile than she is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Their roles have completely reversed since the beginning of season 1. Yeah.
Well, it was when he said, "I need you," when he realized he had no way to communicate with anybody and he really fucking needed her. Yeah. It was like a switcheroo, and she's like, "I'm wearing tank tops. Fuck you." You know?
Yeah. Their story is a great one. As the show goes on, their story arc is pretty fucking great.
So we cut to Claire, and she's about to give Aaron a vaccine, but Desmond tells her she is wasting her time because he shot himself with that stuff every 9 days for 3 years. And he walks over and says that Aaron is lovely and asks if the father is here now, but Claire says he's been gone for a long time. Desmond says maybe he knew he would be a lousy dad and he was doing what was best for her, but she replies he was doing what was best for him.
Sure fucking was.
Yep.
True.
He wants to concentrate on his painting.
Oh, God, that's right. Yeah, the starving artist. Probably still starving. So he
did the opposite of what Michael did as an artist.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we go to flashback number 3, and Desmond is getting ready to go running at the stadium when Jack pulls up and starts running up the stairs. Another nicer car pulls up, and Penelope gets out, and he asks, how did she find him? And she replies that she has a lot of money, and with enough money and determination, you can find anyone.
Penny's here.
Yep. She asks if he read his beloved book, but he said not yet, and tells her that he was in prison and not away, because she had mentioned if he read it while he was away.
Right, that's right. She just said it like he was on vacation, like backpacking through Europe.
I'm pretty sure she knew that he was in prison.
Oh, of course
that
she
was
did.
like,
it was like she didn't.
I'm sure her dad made absolutely sure. He was in prison.
She didn't want to vocalize it, and that's why he was like, "I was in prison." You can say it. Yeah.
Now this scene is tough. She asks why didn't he write to her, and you can see she's starting to cry. That tear comes from her eye. And he doesn't answer.
Man, that one tear coming down her face. So
like
perfect.
As an actress, you mean?
Yeah.
Being able to do that? Yeah.
Excellent.
And he doesn't answer, damn it. And instead asks when is she going to get married. She says she hasn't set a date, and he tells her he'll be back in a year. And I think she said something like, why don't you just come back now?
Yeah.
And he tells her he's going to win her father's race, and then he wipes that tear off of her face. And Penelope asks, what is he running from? And he tells her he has to get his honor back, and that is what he is running to.
Oh.
So back in the present, and this is going to be a shocker, Desmond is drinking on the beach. His unlimited supply of booze.
Yeah, where the fuck is he getting this from?
Maybe they got a distillery on the island.
Right.
Still no cobbler.
Nope, no cobbler.
The distillery is like next to the torch farm and the tarp farm.
Yeah. So Locke walks up and says, what did one snowman say to the other snowman? And Desmond replies, smells like carrots. I think that's what he said. Yeah. Locke has a big smile on his face and sits down asking for a drink. And of course, Desmond says, I insist.
Oh, you know what? He also refers to Locke as Boxman.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I think that's probably more like Sawyer, but
that's more of
different kind of box, but
that's true.
He says, well, Locke managed to fix the computer, and he said, the world is still here, isn't it? Or he asked Locke, did he manage to fix the computer? And he says, the world is still here, isn't it? And Desmond says he's not so sure. Locke asks, how long was he in the hatch? And he said 3 years, and then tells him that all those years that he and the men before him were down in the hatch pushing the button, that it was all for nothing. Desmond asks, how would you know something like that? And Locke tells him about the Pearl Hatch and what he saw an orientation film that told him everything was happening in their hatch wasn't real, and that it was a test, a psychological experiment. Desmond said he is lying, so Locke pulls out the tape and offers to watch it and make some popcorn. Desmond says, if he is so sure, why doesn't he just not push the button? But Locke said that someone else has decided to start and tells him to sober up. Tomorrow we will find out what happens when that button doesn't get pushed.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
The tension is building inside me. Like,
I'm so
I don't
ready
want
for
things...
that button not to be pushed.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want things to go haywire if it's real, but, like, I kind of want to see what happens, right?
I want what happens when that button isn't pushed.
I seriously want shit to go haywire. It's the end of the season. It's all about haywire.
We know it will.
I just mean, like, for the sake of the characters, if I'm, what did you say? Method watching.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I don't want like bad stuff to happen, but I'm still thinking, okay, but what will happen? Yeah, I love it.
So in the jungle, they're sitting around the fire when Sawyer offers Hurley an energy bar, but Hurley says no, and Sawyer asks, "Are you serious?"
Such a fucking asshole.
Michael is standing away from the group, looking very distressed when Jack walks up, scaring him, asking him if he is all right. Michael lies and says he's just getting some firewood, so Jack offers him a hand. Michael then thanks Jack for risking his neck to help save his boy, Coral. And he replies, Jack replies, live together, die alone. So back on the boat, Sun throws up over the side, but it isn't because of seasickness. And Jin comes over and tells her to look at the shore. And they see the foot of a huge statue. And Saeed says, I don't know what is more disquieting, the fact that the rest of the statue is missing or that it has 4 toes.
I think it's the 4 toes.
That's the first thing I saw. I was like, what the?
Yeah, for me, it's the 4 toes.
Yeah. Puts a new spin on the phrase, something strange is afoot.
Oh.
That was a good one, Ben.
Nice.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're kind of slacking lately. I guess no drinking. You're getting boring, Ben.
Is it the alcohol
dad jokes
that fuels the puns?
Yeah.
No, it's really not. I live with him. It's really not the alcohol. It's just his state of being.
Yeah.
I love it.
So in the hatch, Echo is carving another Bible verse into his Jesus stick when all the lights go out and the backup generator kicks in. He goes to investigate and finds the hatch door open and someone has removed a fuse from the fuse box.
I bet it's the box man.
Then you hear a countdown starting at 8, 7, 6, and you see Desmond is rubbing some wires together in the computer room, and then the blast doors start coming down. When the countdown reaches 1, they are closed, and Echo doesn't make it back in, and he does try to stop the door with his Jesus stick, like it was divine or something. But Locke grabs it, allowing the door to close. Echo starts banging on the door, and Locke says he is more sure about this than anything in his entire life. So Desmond says, we wait.
Actually, he says, all right then, box man.
All right, box man.
We wait. So we go to flashback number 4. Desmond is on the boat somewhere in the middle of a storm, and waves are crashing onto the boat. He goes below deck, wraps up his book, the Dickens book, in plastic, and takes it with him. A big wave hits him, causing him to fall on his head on a cleat, knocking him out. Cleat's the little thing they tie the ropes around.
One of the most terrifying.
That's called, the cleat?
Yeah,
cleat. Are you a sailor? Yes. Do you sailboats?
No.
Oh,
I just know it for some reason, yeah.
That's random.
Lacy, I knew that because my mom's old boat.
Oh, right.
Even though it's not a sailboat, they still got cleats.
They still
and
have
bumpers
cleats. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss our boating days.
I know, it was fun.
So then it cuts to a blurry, jumpy sequence where he is on the shore and then someone in a yellow hazmat suit arrive and drags him into the jungle. Then you see he's in the hatch, and the man in the yellow suit tears open his Charles Dickens book package, looks at it, and angrily throws it down. I don't know what he was looking for. The man removes his masks, and he is revealed to be none other than Inman. What? The CIA operative from Saeed's flashbacks. So he asks Desmond, are you him?
Again, here we're watching another scene that we've seen with different characters.
And he asked him the snowman question, but Desmond doesn't know the answer. So Desmond asks what happened to his boat, but Inman says he found him washed up on the shore and that there was no boat. Then the familiar beeping starts, and Inman walks in the computer room. Desmond follows him and watches as he enters the number, and the beeping stops, resetting the timer. Desmond asks, what was that all about? And Inman says, just saving the world.
If you notice,
casually saving the world.
They have a couple scenes here, and I've noticed this a few times before. They walk by the washer and dryer that are in there. Those washer and dryers look surprisingly modern for this place, basically being
front loaders
in the 70s.
Oh, they didn't exist.
Right.
No fucking way.
I know that's at the first episode when
I did too.
Watching.
Back in
like there's no front loaders in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there was a couple episodes where I saw it. You know, there was one where Rose was doing laundry. I saw one. It was a couple episodes ago where you just see it. You know, and I was like, oh, those are side loaders. There's no way. And I didn't mention it, but then I saw it again and thought, okay, I've had enough.
So Desmond is now watching the Swan orientation film and asks about the missing parts. And Inman tells him that Radzinski made the edits, who is revealed to have been his partner. So it was a two-man job at one time. Desmond asks what happened to him, but Inman ignores him as he's putting the hazmat suit back on. And he asks, why does he wear that suit? And he says, so he won't get infected out there. Then Inman opens a locker and gives Desmond a vaccine, telling him he needs to take this every 9 days because he was out there a while before he found him, and hopefully it's not too late.
Yeah, so obviously Kelvin,
the air is contaminated.
Yeah, is convinced that there's no world outside either.
Well, it's just weird to think about the air around the island being contaminated.
Yeah.
So much and for so long that you have to give yourself these injections every 9 days. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No.
It definitely does not.
No. Unless it was like some sort of like weaponized allergen or something that came from plants and it was like being released into the air, maybe.
Yeah.
But
radiation,
like a virus or something.
Radiation could do that, but could be dangerous in that way.
Yellow
But then
hazmat suit wouldn't help against radiation.
That's what I was going to say. But then a yellow
unless it was lined with lead.
Would do nothing. Yeah.
So back in the present hatch, Echo is still banging on the door, and Desmond asks who is he, and why does he carry a stick covered in scripture? Locke says it's because he's a priest, and Desmond says, we locked out a priest?
He looks really upset by this.
Yeah.
Well, he's Scottish, so it's likely.
Yeah, he's like, holy shit, we just locked out a priest? I think that maybe that was a bad idea.
So Echo leaves the hatch to the original entrance where the quarantine door was blown off, and he notices that same door and then runs into the jungle.
Yeah, he stares at the word quarantine like, oh, fuck.
Hey, I've been on the phone all this time and it's been quarantine. So he goes to the beach where Charlie is playing on his guitar and asks him, how did they get the quarantine door open? And Charlie says they blew it up.
I think what Charlie actually says is, I don't know, but if you hum it, I can play it for you, which I thought was
the first part.
That's
hilarious.
True. He does say that.
Asshole.
Echo asks for his help and tells Charlie that John has locked him out and is going to stop pushing the button. I think Charlie said, oh, you need my help now, huh?
Yeah, he gets annoyed.
And he believes that if the button is not pushed, that everyone on the island will die.
Well, that motivates Charlie. He suddenly believes him and is like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, he's like, let's go on an adventure.
Back to the 5 on the quest, Sawyer is asking if they think that the others are left over from the Dharma folk, but then he says his theory is that they're all aliens and that they use the fake beards and prosthetics, and asks Kate for her opinion, but she says to keep moving because they are being followed.
Yeah.
Yep, she bends down to act like she is tying her shoe and tells Sawyer that there are at least 2 of them, and then he sees them across the river. And then they just start opening fire on the others, and Sawyer ends up killing one of them, but the other gets away. The other. Kate wants to follow so he can't warn them, but Jack says no because they have already been warned, while looking at Michael.
Womp womp.
Well, I mean, they probably heard the gunshots.
Well,
that too.
Yeah.
Or they'd see the black smoke from Saeed's side quest.
So Sawyer, Kate, and Hurley look confused as Jack shoves Michael against a tree, demanding him to tell the truth. He finally says, "It was the only way." Walt!
He's my son, I believe he actually says when cornered. And again, it's like, oh.
He's your son? No way.
No way.
You've only told us like 1,000 times. And he says that they gave him a list with their names on it, and he said he had to bring all 4 back with him or he wouldn't see his son again. Kate asks if he let Henry go, and Michael nods his head, and then this sucks too. And then Hurley, who looks devastated.
Terrible. This is terrible.
Oh my God.
Poor Hurley. Anna Lucia and Libby. And Michael says he had to, there was no other way, but that Libby was a mistake and he didn't have time to think. And then Hurley asks, if you still had time, you still would have killed her, right?
He would have.
Michael apologizes and tries to justify his actions, saying it was for his son. Hurley just, that's my son. Hurley wants to go back, but Jack says he can't. And then Hurley tells Jack, you knew we were going to get killed and you brought us here anyway. I mean, Hurley's just, man, he's fucked.
Yeah.
He's so pissed off at everybody right now.
Rightfully so.
Right, yeah. But Jack says if they didn't come, then they would kill all of them, and he wouldn't have brought them if he didn't have a plan.
Oh.
And Sawyer
the man
asks,
with the plan.
What plan? And we cut to the boat where Saeed is praying in Arabic. And Jin sees something on the shore and hands the binoculars to Saeed, who sees a rock formation, which is the one that Michael described. And he says, we're here. End of episode.
Alrighty, folks. Today I have some fun facts about Egyptian gods and goddesses. Why? Hold tight. We will get there. Until then, here's some facts. By the time the Great Pyramid of Giza was built in the mid-3rd millennium BC,
isn't that just how they? Isn't that what they just call old people in Boston?
What?
Huh?
A pyramid of Giza. Oh, a Giza instead of geezer?
Giza.
Yeah. You're back here, you Giza.
Back down the yad.
Yes,
you're right. Giza.
All right. So by that time period, Egyptian gods and goddesses began to take on the form of animals, some of which we are probably familiar with. One of the most ancient was Horus the Elder. He was represented as a man's body with a falcon head. Amun was depicted as a man with the head of a ram, while one that is familiar, I think, to most anyone is Anubis. And he had the body of a man and the head of a dog, which I think looks decidedly like a Doberman in the drawings.
Mm-hmm.
But early goddesses were often responsible for things associated with life and reproduction, including birth, fertility, and nourishment. Some of them were shown with a cow's head or horns like that of Isis. She was fully human but had cow horns on her head.
Isis.
Isis. Bastet is a woman with the head of a cat, while Serket wore a scorpion atop her head. But, and this is the most important part, not all Egyptian gods were depicted with human bodies and animal heads. Some were a combination of more than one animal, including the bottom half of the bodies. And because of that, it was not uncommon for the statues to have 4 toes.
Got
it.
So you're saying that thing on the island is Egyptian?
I said nothing but told you about Egyptian gods and goddesses. I'm just telling you that's how the statues roll. And so therefore, take that information and do whatever you'd like with it.
I think it was more likely that the island was a place where trolls lived in ancient times.
Ancient trolls.
Yeah,
Right,
that was a troll that was out on the beach. The sun came out. I turned to stone over time. The weathering.
But do trolls have 4 toes?
There's a lot of different types of trolls.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I mean, there are sloths with 2 toes, and there are sloths with 3 toes.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah. All right.
You've watched Troll Hunter, so you know, like there's many species of trolls.
That's true. Yeah. If you guys haven't seen the movie Troll Hunter, you should watch it. It's fucking hilarious.
Amazing. It is amazing.
I haven't seen that.
Oh my God. Just get it. Just buy it. It's
subtitled.
It's fucking amazing.
Norwegian, right?
Yeah.
Ben? Norwegian flick?
It's so good.
It's pretty good. All right. Shall we do some best and worst moments? How about we start with Christy?
Penny showing up at the stadium was like my favorite moment.
Yay!
Like, oh my God, yay, Penny's here. My worst moment was Hurley finding out that Michael killed Libby and that he would have done it even if he'd had time to think about it. You know, that whole scene where Hurley feels just so betrayed by everyone in that moment. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Derek, how about you?
Mine was the exact same too. Penny showing up at the stadium was cool. I really liked that whole scene.
Uh-huh.
And then, Hurley, the worst moment. It was just his face, the devastation. I mean, God, it was just brutal.
Yeah.
Especially when it's just tackled Michael and pummeled him. But,
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Hurley has a lot of restraint.
I mean, especially after watching him beat Sawyer's ass earlier in the season.
So I
I'm
knew he
surprised.
had it in him.
Yeah, he could just picked him up and pile drived him. But anyways, I had the same in my worst moment as well, although I had 2. It was the Hurley. But then also the box of letters really got me. It really bothers me to think that that people would do that and just, I don't know, it just makes me angry. But anyways, my best moment was just the last words of the episode, "We're here." Because I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, let's get the others. Ben, what about you?
My least favorite was the same. Just watching Hurley's heart break right there. You know, You're saying like he's got it in him to be violent, but when you're that thoroughly gutted, there's no point in fighting. Like it's just something like that would just hold you out. You know?
That's true. Yeah, you don't even have.
You shot her, and then the people that I rely on so much have brought me into these lies. You know, even though there's a meaning to it, there's a reason to it. It's still just like I'm a pawn.
Got it. Yeah.
So it's like he didn't even have the strength to do anything because he's just hollowed out at that point. Yeah,
exactly.
That makes sense.
We didn't eat that energy bar the night before.
That's
either.
true. That is true. That is true. My favorite scene, my favorite was actually just when Echo comes up and asks Charlie like how they got the door off or whatever, and then Charlie says, "Well, I don't know, but if you can hum it, I can play it for you." I generally mostly Charlie just pisses me off, but there was a little bit of a little cheekiness to that I really liked. Yeah.
Ben, why don't you continue on and give us your rankings for today?
On top was Desmond, brother. Behind him, we've got Locke. It's even though he's been kind of waffling back and forth between being sort of super like focused and I'm gonna push this button, and then now he's not. Like I always like it when Locke just gets his mind set on something and just goes and does it, because it always really drives. He's one of the main sort of like gyros of the series.
I see. So you're not mad at him that he sort of switched sides the way that I am. Because you're like, at least he's still determined to do this other thing.
Every time Locke sets his sights on something, major shit happens on the island. He's one of the main reasons why the story goes forward.
That's a good point.
Little do you know.
Yeah.
And then Jack in third place, just for, he's Dr. Bronze. He's taken the main team. He's taken Squad A to go get some shit done. I'm going to fuck Kate. You didn't give us your worst especially characters. Rosie. Well, now I'll get to my worst characters.
Oh, excuse me.
Bottom, Michael, and Charles Woodmore. And I'm going to kill Michael again.
Again. All right. Christy, how about you?
As much as I love Desmond, all he really did was drink in this episode. So my top 3.
I think it must be because I have not been drinking. I was sort of like, oh, that looks awesome.
Arm initiative. Scotch.
Yeah, his flashbacks were good, but for my top 3, I went Echo, Jack, Charlie. And for my bottom three, Michael, Locke, and Charles Widmore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to fuck Penny, and I'm going to kill Michael.
All right. Derek?
My best was Desmond, brother. I just really liked him in this episode. My second was Libby, because she gave him the boat. Third is Saeed, because he had a real plan, to sneak onto the others. My worst was Charles Widmore. Just couldn't stand that guy from the beginning.
Yeah.
Second is Michael, because he's leading them in their trap. And third was Locke, because he's kind of fallen away from the Locke that I really like. The man of faith. I'm going to fuck Claire, because she just looked really good in this episode. And I'm going to kill Michael. She is a cutie. Yeah, she is. I'm going to kill Michael.
You're going to kill Michael? Okay.
Yep.
So, Derek, you and I had all the same people, but in slightly different orders. So my best was Desmond, because I just fucking adore him. I had Saeed coming in second and Libby in third. So we had those flipped. Although it was a brief scene, I loved seeing Libby in that flashback, and the idea of meeting a stranger and giving away, this thing that belonged to your dead husband. It was like a process of healing. I just loved it.
I mean, it started with a pay it forward with coffee, and then you ended up getting a whole boat.
Right. And then in my worst, I had Michael for obvious reasons. And then again, we had these other ones flipped, Derek. I have Charles Widmore in second and Locke in third for losing the faith. It's just makes me sad. I'm going to hop in the middle of a Desmond Penny sandwich because duh.
Nice.
And just because I needed to do it one more time this season, I'm going to go ahead and kill Randy. Douchebag nation.
Oh man, let sleeping douchebags lie. Come on.
Well, after the season, I'll think about it.
Yeah, right.
All right. So, Benjamin, can you tell us where we are at the end of this episode, right before we go into the last power rankings of the season?
Yeah, we've got still Mr. Echo in first place with 134 points. Second place behind him is Jack with 104 points. And then
Dr. Silver now. He's
Dr. Silver.
Dr. Silver.
Yeah, exactly. And then the mayor of Islandtown, Hurley, in third place. Bottom of the barrel. Not a whole lot of surprises. Again, Michael, negative 93 points. With Mr. Cooper in second place, negative 62. And Charlie holding out third place with negative 60.
That's wild, though. Like, Mr. Cooper is still in. He's like the Ethan last season, right? Where he kept, it didn't matter. He was only in a few episodes. Even worse. I mean, he's really only in one episode this season, right?
Yeah.
He must be in two.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might be.
He must be in episode, I think he's in episode 2 and episode 17.
Okay.
Or episode 3 and episode 17, because he goes down to negative 30 and then again to negative 62, and that's it.
No that's movement. Right. He was in both of so he was in orientation and lockdown. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. I guess we're gonna do some final impressions. What do you think about that?
Sure.
All right. How about Christy?
Oh my God, I loved it. I love that Desmond's back. I love that Penny's here. As much as I hate Charles Widmore, I love that he's joined in the scene because he's such an excellent villain. I can't wait to see what happens with the others in the next episode and the A Squad going on their team trek through the jungle. There's just so much happening, and it's just building the tension, and I loved it.
Now, when they originally did this, did they air these episodes the same night?
Yes.
I don't recall.
Yes, I think that they did. I think it was a double. Yeah, because at the end of season 1,
special.
Right, at the end of season 1, it was a 3-parter, and they did one episode 1 week, and then the other 2 the next week, I think. And so I think they did that this time too. But I'm not entirely sure. Christy, I feel exactly the same way you do about this episode. It's just so fucking exciting. here in my notes, this is what I had written verbatim. So happy to see Desmond's backstory. Penny, yay. Oh my God, what happens next? That is it. Like when Saeed says we're here, it just pumped me up. I'm just ready to go kick some other ass.
And for anybody who watches the Great British Bake Off, Brendan looks just like Charles Woodmore.
Is that one of the judges?
No, he's a contestant. And it was funny because the first time Caleb and I saw him on the show as a contestant, we're thinking, that man is probably like an ex-spy or something like that. So it was neat for me to see Charles Woodmore enter the scene. And I'm like, oh my God, he looks just like Brendan from the Bake Off.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Benjamin, what'd you think of this episode?
I thought it was a great episode. Like you pointed out, there are a lot of parallels, characters sort of being on opposite sides of interactions.
Yeah, those moments are awesome.
It was really cool to see a lot more of Desmond's backstory. He's been really, really continues to be a bit of a wild card, and his interactions with Inman and all that type of stuff. It was interesting to see how that sort of hatched. So yeah, the introduction of Penny and all that is also very interesting. I thought it was a pretty good episode all in all, and I especially appreciated the fact that Locke kind of got things moving again. Forcing
the plot. You mean?
Yeah, forcing the plot to move along, because I think this season has been not quite as fast paced, or not quite. There hasn't been as much development this season. It's been a little more of a holding pattern for a lot of it. So it's nice to see that things are starting to just move and get uneasy again.
You think there was less character development this season than there was in season 1?
I think there was less story this season. I think there's more. I think there's more character backstory this season with less actual change on the island.
So yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yes, I will agree with that.
Like they stalled out the change in the island to develop all the characters.
Yeah. I mean, think about something like Sawyer's, bid for fucking sheriff or whatever. Whatever really happened there. One episode, he fooled some people. He said, "I'm a fucking sheriff now." Blah blah blah. I guess. But then within a few episodes,
but they had to spend the rest of the season trying to get the guns from him. So
yeah, but even then, it wasn't really. It really wasn't okay. So they played a game of poker, and then he got the guns from him. It just. I don't know. There was a lot of I don't know what you'd call just sort of narrative dead ends that happened in this season. And I feel like the first season wasn't like that. So I'm glad to see things getting moving again. And the sort of big arcs on the island are starting to come back out.
Well, I will tell you what, season 3, you're going to get a whole lot of stuff about the island.
Yeah. What was that accent you just did?
I don't know. I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know. All right. Derek, can you please tell us, what is your final impression and what questions are you left with for the last episode?
Well, I really like this episode. I'm glad I was assigned it, because I do like Desmond, and I'm glad we found out some of his backstory, because I'm sure there's more.
You're always going to have the awesome episodes, because I'm giving you open and close the season. So
that's
every
true. Those
season,
probably
so
normally the best. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get some powerhouse episodes that way. But anywho,
so we found out how he ended up on the island, and Inman's on the island. He met Libby at a coffee shop. So these characters' lives are very intertwined.
Indeed.
And I'm glad, we're finally going to come to a showdown with the others, and that button is finally not going to be pushed. And we'll see what happens. So a couple of questions was, what the hell is that four-toed statue doing on the island? And, what's the purpose of the quarantine and the vaccine?
Hey, interesting. We will learn some more about that statue next season. Quarantine and vaccine, that's a little more complicated, but there are some answers about that that will be explored next season as well. Gosh, you guys, There's one episode left of season 2. How did we get here already? This is amazing. All right. I don't have to say next week because what you can do is stop listening to this and go download the next episode, and we'll see you with another Live Together, Die Alone, Desmond flashback, Derek giving it to you in like 30 seconds. Okay? Bye.
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 Derek giving it to you in 30 seconds.
That's generous.
Lost in My 40s is a Space Bear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacy J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trimp. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook to interact with your hosts. Plus, follow Space Bear Media on YouTube to watch our episode pre-shows. You can also find us at SpaceBear_media on Instagram and Twitter. Or come to our website, spacebearmedia.com.